We have a problem. I have read every single book on this Kindle and I refuse to buy any more. From Amazon, that is. But I do enjoy reading ebooks, especially at night or while traveling, so what's a girl to do? I've considered swapping to something like Kobo, but then I'm just locked into another system and this essentially becomes e-waste. I've looked into other brands of e-readers, but again, what would I do with this? And I could sell it, sure, but then Amazon benefits in the long run, and I don't really fancy that. So let's try something new before I write this thing off for good. We are going to jailbreak this Kindle, and I'm going to take you along for the ride with me. So what is jailbreaking? Because you might already know, but I didn't until I watched a video on it, so let's break it down. Jailbreaking, to put it simply, is where you remove the manufacturer restrictions on your digital device. It's essentially unlocking it so that you can do things like add new software, change settings, mod it, that kind of thing, so you can make the digital device customized to you. Usually this kind of thing is reserved for mobile phones and games consoles, but in this case it also refers to this. Jailbreaking does come with a set of risks though. You can void your warranty on your device if it's still in warranty. You can open up security issues because you'll essentially be adding your own software onto it that might not be approved by the company who manufactured the device. And of course, you could break your device if you do it badly. I ordered my Kindle in September 2021, so my warranty is dust. And in the name of experimentation, I am willing to give this jailbreaking thing a go for better or worse. Oh, and just as a side note, I am aware that I do not have to jailbreak my Kindle in order to get non-Amazon books on it. I could sideload them using something like Calibre. But in this case, I also want the additional benefits of being able to have other things on my Kindle that I can mess around with and customize it to suit me, things that I will show you later in the video. I'll explain all of this as I'm installing and hopefully not breaking my Kindle. So I'm completely new to this, but I did a bit of prior research to make sure that I could actually achieve this thing. So I'm going to be using the kindlemodding.org website to essentially walk me through these steps. And I know that one of the first things you need to do is check which generation of Kindle you have so that you pick the correct jailbreak method for your Kindle. Now I know that mine is a Kindle Paperwhite 8 gigabytes without ads, and I've already figured out that it's 10th generation, and I found that out by going on my Amazon account that I registered the Kindle with, and you can see which generation it is there. So because I'm using the Kindle modding website, I'm going to click Get Started, and because we know the model and generation, we'll just scroll down to find Kindle Paperwhite 10th generation. Here you can see that there are 5 different jailbreak methods. Again, I did some prior research because when I looked at this, I was like, I need to figure out which one it is. It's the ad break method that I'm using. And I figured this out by going through each. And then the other thing that you need to do is figure out what firmware version your Kindle is on. And that will determine which jailbreak you also use. So let's just double check because I would hate to have that wrong. You go to settings, 518111. Well, that went wrong already. Let's just say I spent the next few hours trying and failing to mod my Kindle simply because I picked the wrong update. So let's get back on track. Well. Weird idiot. I've rolled it back. Now we need to start again, and I need to use a different jailbreak called Spring Break. Now all I need is PC, cable, registered Kindle running on this firmware, and a Wi-Fi connection. Let's download Spring Break. Turn on airplane mode on your Kindle. It is on. Restart your Kindle. Once it's restarted, then I connect it to my PC. It takes ages to restart.
12 seconds later.
Right, unzip Spring Break. Run the binary. Double-click Spring Break to begin. Okay. EXE. Choose your Kindle from the device list. If it's plugged in and mounted, it will show up. Will it now? Type in that number and press enter. Done. Spring Break preparation complete. You can now eject your Kindle. Once you finish jailbreaking, rerun this utility. Okay, so it's filled up using filler files. Unplug the Kindle. On the home screen, press the store icon, like the basket. It's just taking its time. Okay, just connect to that. Spring Wake, look. Text should appear, yes. After a few seconds, you should see this screen indicating that the jailbreak is successful. Oh, yeah, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Plug the Kindle back in once you're on the home page and the system UI has restarted. Run the binary, select the Kindle, and it will clean up. Now we need to run the binary, which I presume is the exe command. We've got Kindle, so let's press 1, and it's cleaning up. Right, double check that you don't have any update files. Restart your Kindle after unplugging it from USB. Okay. Right, let's restart. I'm going to restart this and then I'll come back after some lunch and we can see how it's all fared and what we need to do next.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I am back from lunch and now we have this fun file that says jailbroken, which means it worked. Okay, so we need to download and install Kobo and MRPI. Kobo is the Kindle Unified Application Launcher, and MRPI is Mobile Read Package Installer. These will essentially allow me to mod my Kindle in various ways. Once we've done that, I want to install Co-Reader, which replaces the Kindle reading app and it is much better. And then after that, there's a potential that I will be needing to install one more thing which disables updates so that Kindle can't just undo all of this. That would be very annoying. First thing we need to do is download this file. So we want to do K5 and newer, I think. Okay, downloaded. Next. Now we don't need to download MRPI. Airplane mode is on before freeing up space. We should have space. Okay, so we need to plug this in. And then we need to extract both of these. Extract. Copy extensions and mirror packages to my Kindle. Open Kobo by clicking on the Kobo item in your library. It's there! Can you see that? Wow. Do not follow this guide if your jailbreak was Spring Break. Instead, use KPM by running that. I think that means typing into here, KPM update. Let's try the co-reader again. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna restart. Oh, it says failed to install. I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
It's working now. I did two things. I restarted, but most importantly, I took it off airplane mode because it needs the internet to do it. I know that sounds ridiculous, and if you're watching this, you're probably like, wow, like that's so basic. However, the documentation for this modding could just include a line that's like, make sure you don't have this on, and that would make it easier. I do work in tech. This isn't like I'm like a clueless person who doesn't use tech that much. I do, and that tripped me up. So anyway, so far there's three things on my screen right now. One, I've already installed Companion, which allows the Kindle UI to index EPUB files and open them in Co-Reader. Next, I'm going to install Co-Reader. I'm just going to check because that looked like it installed it really fast. After every one of these updates, it seems to disconnect me from the internet, and then I have to restart it. Let's just try and install. I'm probably not, if I've not got any internet, this isn't going to work, but you never know. The last thing is KPM. Okay, it failed, yeah. So I need the internet, which means I'm gonna have to restart again because it won't. You know what? I'm going to do this off camera. It's not an issue doing all of this. It's just restarting my Kindle takes ages. Like the Kindle is so slow at restarting. I'll be back.
6.5 hours later.
We are essentially done for today. I have now installed Co-Reader and you should be able to see some footage right now of me looking at that. And essentially what I can do in Co-Reader is read books through that, and I can read things like PDFs and EPUB files and all sorts of other things. And I have heard that you can download books using it from things like standard ebooks, which I mentioned in my DRM free book ebook video. So I want to explore that. I want to do things like you can add screen savers stuff like that. So I want to have an explore and fully get to know all of these different modded elements, understand what I'm looking at, see if I need to install anything else, and then come back and share that with you. So I am going to take essentially the next week to gradually get to know my new Kindle and come back and show you what I found and what I've done to it. I'm quite excited. I hope that all of this will prove worth it. I'm happy now that I have jailbroken it. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. It was a little bit more complicated. A lot of that was my fault, but if you're thinking about doing it, just know that the official Kindle modding website, it is useful, but there are points where you will probably encounter things that will trip you up. So it will, if you're like allocating some time to do this, allocate an extra hour, just in case. I'll come back next week and I'll show you what I've done.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
It has been a week, and as you can see, I've made some visible changes to my Kindle. Check out this swanky little wallpaper. Bonus points if you can tell me in the comments who you think that is. I've been messing around with this thing a lot this week, and as well as reading a book, of course, let's talk about what I got up to. The first thing I did was download some books, just a couple, because I didn't want to end up with so many ebooks I needed to go on a book buying ban again. The fun thing with using Co-Reader is that you can download books from Project Gutenberg or standard ebooks from within your Kindle. You don't need to download them on your computer and transfer them over via cable at all. A major plus as far as I'm concerned. I ended up testing this out with a random book to see what it was like, but after this I opted for Meditations by Marcus Aurelius and Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. The first is on my TBR anyway, so I was pleased with that. Next, I decided to play around with some settings. When you first open up Co-Reader, let's be honest, it kind of looks ugly. You see all these weird folder names all in a big list, and it doesn't exactly look like you're opening up a brand new piece of modern software. So to make this a bit nicer, I created a folder for my books, which you can just do right there on the Kindle. Then I changed the layout of this. There are a few options you can pick from, but I liked the mosaic with cover images option. After that, I made that folder my home folder. So every time I open Co-Reader, it will jump straight to my books rather than all the other random stuff. I kind of feel like some of these folders might not be needed at all, but it's kind of hard to tell. So for now, I'll leave them alone, but if you know what to do with them, tell me in the comments. After all of this, I wanted to do one more customization thing before I just settled into reading, and that was to add wallpapers to my Kindle. I knew you could do this from watching other people do the same thing, and I had some ideas on what I wanted mine to be. I used Canva to create them, and I ended up realizing that bigger is better. I made mine transparent so when you lock your Kindle, you can see the page you were reading underneath your wallpaper. I also set it so that it cycles through a folder of them, so every time I close my Kindle, it shows something different. The only issue I had with this is that every time I wanted to connect my Kindle to my computer, I had to restart it first, and then it worked. I didn't have this issue before, so if you have any ideas why that is, I'm all ears. The reading experience in Co-Reader isn't a huge amount different from reading using the standard Kindle interface. Not that I noticed anyway. I was able to customize things like padding and font, which I'm pretty sure you can at least change the font on Kindle normally, but it's not something I've ever done before. I was always more of a plug and play kind of Kindle user. I feel like I'm only just really scratching the surface of how all this works, but I do have a few things I'm not 100% set on. One is that I'm still worried about buying ebooks. I can currently download public domain books from standard ebooks and Project Gutenberg, which is great, but reading newer releases is a little bit tricky. I probably just need to be a bit smarter with what I buy. I already know a whole host of places that I can buy DRM-free ebooks, and I have those listed in a video if you're interested. So we'll probably do that once I've read through some of the standard ebooks options, because some books on my TBR can actually be read through standard ebooks anyway. Aside from that, I might need to make my ebook reading a little bit more restricted. I also wish I could get UK library books on my Kindle, but that's its own thing. And then aside from all of this, I would say that if you're a Kindle user who isn't bothered by any of the things that I've talked about in this video, or thinks any of the stuff I've shown you is a bit unnecessary or a bit much effort, then don't do it. The modding videos for the Kindle make it look super easy and a no-brainer, but I don't think that's the case at all. It's quite a lot of effort to do this if you're not technically minded, and the perks you get from doing it might just not be worth it for you personally. I love the fact that I can customize my Kindle, but it's not a huge amount of improvement, and there's definitely a few things that I think could be a lot better. Obviously, it's all free, so there's only so much you can expect, but it is an intentional choice and one you should definitely think about before doing it. So you tell me, after watching this, are you thinking about modding your Kindle or have you already done it? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time for another video.